everyone to our BBS radio called Hollow Earth Discovered. Thank you to everyone for being here today, to April the 27th, 2022. We have our very, very special guest, Q, again with us. Last week, he had part one of what we call Shock Factor, Awakening Show. Last call was very earth-shattering and very dynamic. With his information about himself and all of the lies finally being revealed to all of us in regards to our existence. The response for part one was unanimously, as Soraya would say, 100% positive. So with that being said, we welcome once again our very wonderful being of love and light, Q. So Q, you're on the air.
That's my cue, huh? I like it. I like it. Both of you, Billy, she's helped me so much, and Jane, you have helped me so much. It's always going to be a great honor to get to communicate through these avenues. The unbelievable high frequency of BBS radio, these folks are explaining in real time how the ascension process works. It's just amazing how strong BBS has been for so many years, for so many people. And I give them my highest award, whatever that might be. It's just an honor to get to do this. And how do you want me to proceed today, Jane?
Well, I think we can begin from where you left off. And of course, leaving off at the part one was absolutely dynamic and with super high frequency. So let's go ahead and get started again, move forward with your presentation about you. We want to learn more about you. Thank you.
Very good. The body of work I'm going to keep with the same template. We're going to do me, you, us, as I understand it. Please use my words as a body of information that you can dismiss or accept. It's really up to you, and your unlimitedness is unbelievably amazing to me. You're unlimited. Everyone who will listen to this, everyone who is listening to this, and everybody who might contemplate listening to this. And so maybe we'll start with a song again that I will read real quickly, and I'll apologize to the artist at the end for bludgeoning his beautiful work. This is the musicians are giving us a lot of clues, is why I do this for everybody. This song is called I Remember, and it's approximately 40 years old. There is a cold wind out tonight, the chill of distant eyes. An orbit survey finds your mind. I will remember. You will remember the star that came tonight. There is a thought that fills your mind, a vision of a time when knowledge wasn't confined, and we wonder how machines can steal each other's dreams from points that are unseen. It's real. Yes, it's real. I will remember. You will remember the star that came tonight. Can't you see the light from the glowing star? When you gaze up in the evening sky and you're reaching out with your mind, you must see the nation's eye. It's you. It is you they're looking at. I will remember. You will remember the star that came tonight. I will remember. You will remember the star that came tonight. Jeff Tate, sorry to kill one of your songs. It's one of my favorites.
Beautiful, Q. Beautiful. Thank you. What a beautiful message.
And so here we are. What quite a place you have here, Jane.
Oh, absolutely apropos for this call today. Thank you.
Yes. All right. We'll get into it here. Okay. Me, you, and us. I'm starting with me. Don't really like talking about me. Hard to believe all these shows I'm doing, but I'm going to start before we, that would be all of us, we decided for me to come here, how it works, why it always works, and how you're watching it unfold right in front of you right now. So I'll only go back a few thousand years to make it easier for us to translate the information. Jane, any input you have is great, but I'll need to get going here, get some words out. The overview of Earth kind of looked like it always looked perfect. So it was always a light planet. It was a planet of light. And as duality grew and the acceptance of duality grew, the dark, it's now multiplied quite significantly, as you can see. And there's many reasons for that. So, but just so it's easy to conceptualize the information, I'll just make it real simple. Again, my words are incomplete because I'm using the English language. It's a very poor way to communicate, but I'll do my best. Bear with me, please. So when we're looking at this planet 2,000 years ago and coming here 2,000 years ago, the ascension cycle then was just as tricky as now, but for different reasons. So we were able to touch more people. We were all able to touch each other more authentically because linguistically there was less distractions when we communicated. So your telepathic abilities, your light body, when it comes into the physical body, it was easier to come up to somebody and say, I really love you, and you would share light. And so that light column in us as we come in peak. So your planet, from when you're looking at your planet from a much higher dimension, if you like that word, it looks like you're riding on a wave. And so 2,000 years ago, you came to the top of the wave, frequency, we'll call it. And so the explosion, so to speak, is us getting more of our light into us. We're the tool for ascension. And so what it looks like is when I am on top of that wave with you, and I'm helping accelerate the connection with all of you, and you're doing it for me too, it was far easier 2,000 years ago because there was less distractions in our natural light body communicating with another light body. So all of us are even, all of us are the same. It's just who is going to, let's say, carry the light to kick the dominoes over, so to speak. So it's an amazing tool that we all created. And so this is going to lead me into why I'm here and how it works so naturally. It's very organic to recalibrate and reconfigure to your light body 100%, and then go to where you want. So when I looked at this planet and I saw how much control was on it, and it didn't always look chaotic, though, even though I could describe it as chaotic. And the reason that this planet didn't look 100% chaotic is because there's unbelievable opportunities happening right in front of us. So you can actually use BBS radio as an example. And so why are they so successful? Well, because they're so inspired. You can't stop them. Look at all the guests they've had talking and implementing their beliefs and their understanding and their knowledge. Look how incredible that little pie is. And so when you look from afar at this planet, you go, there's so much potential here. Okay, so who am I to say what that potential should be. So when you observe free will and you understand, overstand, whatever word you like to use there, on what the definition of free will is, it's has no limitations. So the reason you're not getting a lot of help, and I'm going to talk to the individuals I'm not real fond of, the Galactic Federation, the reason you're not getting a lot of help, in order to get help, you actually have to participate here. So no one wants to come here in this version of a human body because you have so much limitation. It should be very obvious now. Why are we not getting help from our space brothers? Because you actually have to be us. That's why they're not helping. It should make perfect sense for everybody. Why aren't they coming to, I know they're out there. Yeah, well, they are. And they're definitely not going to get in one of these types of bodies. Okay, that's the short version, very short version. And so it should make very good sense. Okay, I know that there's others out there. Many people are able to channel other beings from other dimensions, frequencies, locations. But you're going to see that it's up to us, because they also believe we're far overqualified. All right, so this is really about me. Hang on. All right, so the first thing, observing this region of the universe, very important that you don't exclude many other planets here. There's a disease here regarding how we use our mind and the relationship between the heart center and the mind. So when I observed this, I asked, how did we develop this region? How did we develop this planet? Again, these are ancient times I'm talking about. How did we fall backwards so quickly? Okay. So the tenure here is always going to be with the hollow earth, but the manipulation outside that question is really the Galactic Federation, because they had a lot to do with building many of these planets. There's a lot of councils. There's a tremendous amount of individuals there. Okay, so you can't really summarize the individuals in the Galactic Federation by my statements, because it is very vast. But for the ease of conversation, we're gonna name names. We're not going to name names in the Galactic Federation, but let's just say that the summary statement looked like this. Well, you know, it's up to them. And I go, well, why did you let it get so far out of control? And it's not out of control. It's what they want. It's what they've designed to do. I go, okay, so, all right, so what are we going to do? I mean, you do see there's a problem here. Is it a problem, or is it their problem? Okay, wait a minute. I got a call, and nobody's really happy down there. Okay, what are you talking about? Well, there's a lot of happy people, but then there's not a lot. So what? By the way, the whales aren't real happy with you at all. And I had a conversation with the whale god, and he's really pissed off. Okay, and then the frogs, they're very confused. And don't the people know they're just like a frog? They don't? How come? You can't send them a book or something? Okay, so I'm making light of it, but get it, light. In any event, those discussions went on for a very long time. They went something like that. And of course, the solution was always going to be the same thing. You have no choice but to go participate. You can't play God, even though there are many powers outside our world that could manipulate our world. This is how benevolent they are to us. They have capabilities that are so amazing. They could show up and fix many items down here, no problem. But this is how benevolent they are. They would never do that to gods. They believe you are all gods, and this is the technology you're now participating in. Whatever you want, whatever you desire, is right now with you, because you're right in the middle of the ascension cycle. So no matter what it is you aspire to be, inspired to do, and excited to do, it'll actually happen now. And it's now your your unbelievable dedication to do that. So I recognize that a very long time ago, and that's why I show up every 2,000 years, because I can see the waves of the frequencies coming through. So it literally looks like almost a wave on the ocean. You're now riding that wave. You're on the top of the crust, the very top of it now, and it lasts quite a while. But it's up to you to absorb it and grab it. So the definition that I struggle with all the time for ascension is going within yourself. That's ascension, and you can actually enjoy this location, or you can go back to your home planet, which is very normal. You usually go back to your home planet. So I could see this, and I said, so if I'm going to go to Earth, I'm going to participate, and if I'm going to go there, I want the worst of the worst. I have to know how they're doing it. And so we had many meetings. How am I going to get to the middle of the problem? And so that in my case, the middle of the problem was the abduction process. So I literally chose a genetic match that will make me stand out. Okay, so it's complex, but we only have so much time here. I'll try and get as much information out to you as I can. That matching of genetics, what it looks like to the dark side is they have two opportunities there. They can scavenge the energy a light being brings into a physical being. So my light. So all of us are just like me, by the way, but genetically, they've done a good job of hindering how much light we get into us. So I picked a physical body that has a lot of light. We did this 2,000 years ago as well, not for the same reasons though. In any event, the light column that comes into my physical body now, with the tools the dark has, I look like a huge light bright on a chessboard, and they're like, okay, we got one, and I'm not the only one, but now they can track it. They can see how it's making decisions, what it's doing. It's quite fascinating how devious they are. But with that, they recognized that you could use it for development of our society. So if you put me in a war, as an example, so they know I have the ability to do the time jumps, which is not the words I would choose, but they can put me in a body that doesn't know it's in a body, so to speak, and then hinder it at the same time use it. Very difficult to explain. So I could do the time travel, which I call location travel, while simultaneously not knowing I'm doing it for the reasons they are using me for. And I'm not the only one, I'm reminding you. When you do that, you can actually shape our history, unfortunately. So, yes, they made me into a super soldier. Yes, they made me into someone who could drive vessels all over the universe. Yes, they tortured me and endlessly tortured me, all for different reasons. So when we get more of our light in us, is what I'm explaining, you can, and you put it in a vessel that is, let's say, governed, they get a lot of mileage out of it because our capabilities are so much greater than theirs. Yet they have all their history, they have all their intelligence. So the dark aliens, they don't lose their memories. So when you come in your body, you lose your memory. And that's why I sang the song at the beginning here. They never lose their memories. So imagine what you could do to a society when you have not only 1,000 years of memory. What if you had 100,000 years of memories? What would you do? And it had the limitation of only being able to go to, say, the fourth dimension, knowing full well you want to go to all the dimensions and or back to source, in which they can't do. So for me, the goal was always, okay, I got to figure this out. And when I get there, I'm not going to have any of my capabilities. And a lot of training went into that, by the way. Okay, so you're going to get down there. They're going to put you in a suit that doesn't have all the buttons on it, and then you're gonna attempt to do this. Yeah, well, what choice do we have? Those were real conversations. Those were real dynamics before I got here. All right, so we could see that because we're able to go into different locations before and after. Sean David Morton, I think, is the closest to getting time travel right on Project Camelot. If you know the information exists, it actually does. But if you believe it's there, it doesn't. Very tricky to explain. So knowing where I'm going, in this case, knowing what I'm going to do, created the outcome that we have right now, me on the radio. And so that's one of the questions I'll answer today. Why are you doing it now? Because we're ready. Because you'll actually feel me, and it'll translate through our light body harmonics, not my words. You'll actually feel the light coming through because I'm not here. You are, though. My light body is predominantly in source. So I come and go through locational knowing, and then come into the body as an understanding of observing and experiencing body. So even though you're hearing my voice, I'm not really here. My light body is coming directly from source right now. And that's why 2,000 years ago until now, you've made a bunch of names for me and put me on a false pillar when you are the ones they really want. So if I can't get to you is what they really want, and that is the explanation that you're a light being working to get more of your light in you. That's all that's going on here. And that's why I was so passionate about coming here is, okay, so I'm going to get in the middle of this. Now, what am I going to do when I get there? All right, so knowing full well I'm going to be implanted, knowing full well the military industrial complex is going to find me from birth. So we already know that. Now, that's the good news and the bad news. What I didn't know is the black magicians that were here, they were going to repeatedly rape me redundantly as a child to get more of the energy from a light being. I had no idea that was going to happen. I did know I was going to get implanted. And that was part of the goal, was to get implanted so I could understand why people are not ascending, so I could teach them how to get out of it. And that's why I'm doing this show today, is I can show you how good they are at this. They're super good at this, and they do it every 2,000 years. They know I'm here. They know where you're at, and it's very exciting for me because we are so close. I assure you, this show will not be as dark as the last one, unless people have questions or so forth. But in anyway, I want to make sure this was very well planned. This time coming here, very well planned, and everything, and everyone is finding me who needs to, and it's all through our light and our sound. So many people are finding me familiar. Well, that's because we were all here 2,000 years ago, and I will never stop letting you know we've been recycled multiple times here. And they keep making genetic mapping system to make sure we don't figure it out. So that's why I came here, is to see how it works, be a part of the problem and the solution, we hope. And I'll continue on how the industrial military complex worked and is falling apart now. So getting here from birth, so the medical industry was designed for everything I told you, at least for the last 200 years, plus or minus, because they know the ascension cycle. They've got it. They're pretty good at managing the timeline of the 2,000 years. They're pretty good at it, but they're not real good at slowing us down. And so understanding that is really been fun and terrifying at the same time. So the first thing I observed getting in the programs and the industrial military complex and the tortures and what have you, once in the underworld, when I observed the aliens model for building us, genetically creating us, they made a mistake. And they made a mistake with the feminine side in a big way. So you'll notice that women, it's very difficult to lie to a woman. I can assure you that. Try and lie to a woman, and that's really paying attention anyway. And notice they have so much more feeling, observation. Even the way they're genetically made. Their breasts are made to feel danger, passion, et cetera, et cetera. They breathe more than us as well, than men. And so they're fighting that constantly now because the masculine side, the males, are also getting a lot of that feminine capabilities. And that's one of the reasons why Billy does have so much capability. She's able to see so much more. So not only are the women more psionically capable, they can actually feel so much more here. So they are constantly in the underworld. They are constantly doing their best to stifle the feminine side here. So not to say they favor it or one way or the other. They just know that genetics got a little bit away from them. It's a little out of control. So you're seeing the feminine side of if you look at all of us in a big herd, they know that they're in a big race now. Okay, so that's why when you go in the spiritual community and you see all these blogs and there are a lot of them are feminine. There's a lot of women saying, "Wait a minute, this ain't quite right," and that's why you see a lot of spiritual teachers and talkers are feminine. So I hope that helps a little bit. But in any event, in the underworld, that is a very big agenda for the dark. Okay, so the aliens that made this, and so now they're stuck because you got to remember the genetic manufacturing process, I'll call it, is 2,000 years old, and now it's evolved into a place where there's no turning back, so to speak. So of course, we're bleeding into a little bit of the second section, us. It's really important for me to get into those programs so I could actually explain it in a way that we can explore even deeper. In the underworld, there are technologies that what they're able to do is now fractionalize the light body into the physical body. And I did my best last show to explain that. So they can actually make a human being that only has a very small percentage of the light body, as we talked about last time. Okay, so now they can also do the opposite. So they can make a human being, we'll use me as an example, I have less restrictions from DNA. And it was, believe it or not, it was actually planned by the dark. They know I'm coming back 2,000 years, and they know you are growing concurrently. And so now here is the game. They want to see if they can literally hijack the light, God's source, that's you, if they can model how they grow their capabilities to be a multidimensional being. So when I was in the underworld, why they killed me so many times is they could watch the light body go in and out, and they still cannot figure it out. So their game now at the end of the ascension cycle is, we'll do it when they all ascend. Okay. So ascension is not the right word. it's recalibrated and reconfigured to more of your light body, 100% of it. In any event, I'll talk a little bit more about my experience at Area 51, how they did it in the industrial military complex, why it was successful for others, not just myself. So now if you have a portion of a light body that's from source, now you can manage a physical being and trick it at the same time. So when you put all these implants on me, and or a type of implant that can make you into a robot, maybe you're seeing it in your real life, artificial intelligence, so forth, they can get me to do the time jumping and the which I would call location jumping, and use me as a tool to create the outcomes they want, the futures they want. So if we use Area 51 as an example, they trick me into, they actually could put me in another physical body because my Merkaba is matching the genetics of the geometry of how our light body comes into a physical body. And they had me be a flight instructor. Okay, so now I'm a flight instructor, and of course, as I've said before, as a double agent, but now I get to observe all the underworlds of Area 51. And I'll remind you again that Hollow Earth has nothing to do with the underworld. I'm going to speak a little bit more about Hollow Earth. When you look at Area 51 from a million years point of view, Area 51 was the greatest collaboration location on the planet. Not exclusively, but a very strong place. So if you can, let's say, abduct Area 51 and not let anybody know you've abducted, who's going to show up? Well, the most benevolent beings in the world, and then you steal their technology, and they don't know that Area 51 has been abducted, because as far as a million years ago, everybody thinks this is a great place to collaborate. And a great place to collaborate is, what I mean by that is, you had relationships with Hollow Earth, you had relationships with animals, you had many relationships all over the star systems. And it was always a peaceful place. So it makes perfect sense that the bad guys would hijack Area 51, because now you've tricked the benevolent beings coming in here. And of course, when you come to a planet like this, you always ask permission, and you're always, because your technology is so superior for many of these planets, you take great care when you set foot on another planet. You take great care. You do not screw around with another planet. It's a common understanding. Multidimensional beings know not to mess with a lower dimensional planet just because they think they're right. And that's the point I'm making, and that's why I'm here, is to participate here so I can actually bring value to the process and understand why we're not ascending. As an example, Hollow Earth is a great example. They have the most tenure here. And so coming here to talk to Zora and say, is it okay that I participate here? And that first meeting did not go well. No was the answer. Okay. And so it took a while for literally me to understand why I can't participate here until I understand what it's like to be here, and then I was welcomed. So that when I talk about events like that, we're talking eons of time ago. So in any event, we can use Hollow Earth as an example why their society is so perfect in many respects, although not perfect, you might say, but just so advanced, it's shocking. And I feel very comfortable talking out of turn. Billy will always be my liaison, and we've never had this conversation, but she knows she knows my relationship with her father. It looks a lot like this to me, and the English language will not do it justice, but the reason the Hollow Earth people don't go anywhere when they ascend is because they're already there. So they go through the ascension cycle just like we do, because of the frequency in which you're climbing up the wave, and you're climbing up the wave with your planet. And yes, you're getting to a higher frequency. And yeah, much of the solar system goes through a recalibration, reconfiguration. Well, most of us, we always go home to our home planet. Well, the Hollow Earth people are already home. They've mastered it. And so when I observed that, was understood the perfect process that they've already understood, then I was actually able to go to other planets and help explain that, because this version of mammalian, although this one is unique, this version of mammalian is quite prevalent throughout the universe. So as an example, there's 2 planets in the Orion sector that went through it very efficiently. And the reason they went through it efficiently is because they had more capability to work with their heart center. So when you live and breathe in your heart center, and this was my great study and goal when I got here, was, okay, so why do we, when you put me in these programs, I started realizing the one common denominator, even when it was in torture, when it was being a super soldier, whatever you want to call it, they had me driving vessels, etc. The one common denominator, they hijacked my spiritual center, my heart center, and made my brain super powerful. So the light body, they can literally channel it through your brain stronger than through your heart center. So that stifling is what most of us are experiencing day in and day out now. And it's very difficult to explain, but the reason the psychological industry is so strong is to get you to stay on the mind side instead of the heart side. So if you tortured me repetitively, that trauma is felt through the emotional body, through the mind, but you could never take away my light body. So I literally learned how to protect myself. So if they mutilated my body, I was sure I felt the torture. But when I came back into the body again, I knew we never die. We never die. And that's what they're counting on you not knowing. You will never die, dear ones. And I will never, ever let you go through this alone, not knowing that. Remember, you never, ever die, my dear ones. And I will always be here to participate. If anything tries to do this again, we will always shoulder the ascension process. I will always be here shouldering this. So as we come around on the other side of the ascension, they won't implement another tool, another being that is not authentically all of us. I hope that makes sense. Now, I guess I should have a sip of tea, huh? Jane, do you have any questions for me? Oh, she's sipping tea too.
No, that was Hugh. That was awesome. Of course, you always, not just myself, you bring us to tears when you say that you will never leave. I mean, that you will always be here with us. So we're most grateful.
Okay, I got you in a spot there. I'm so flattered that. And so we're going to talk about you now, dear ones. The tool that we all created for ourselves is light and sound. So the bad guys know that when I talk, it's going to create a resonance. Actually, if you listen to great disc jockeys, the musicians, that's why they kill you when you play music, because you think that was an accident, that Robin Williams is not with us anymore, Prince, Jimi Hendrix. Look at how beautiful the harmonics come through the musicians. And for you, even if you don't like their music, they know, the bad guys know, that you are the tool that creates the ascension cycle. Okay, so when we listen to the familiarity of my voice, it's really not the voice or the words, it's our harmonics are built into us. They made a mistake there. So when I look at everyone and they start talking, so even you use the producers of BBS, when you listen to them, you'll see that 50 years ago, they might not have had the same harmonics as they do now. And so these are very powerful beings, as you can see. And what it does is it's guaranteed technology. When you sing, when you talk, when you hum, and that's why I make fun of this language, because the consonants are designed, when you talk in the English language and many other languages, the consonants are designed to install the black magic. Okay, so this is very important for me to talk about you in this way, without judgment, please, without anything else but examination. And it's impossible for me to judge anything or anyone. It's just examining. So when you examine the English language, you'll notice, because I can compare other planets and other dimensions and how we communicate. By the way, we don't have names of the other dimensions. We don't have titles. We rarely name a planet. In fact, Earth is not the name of your planet, but whatever, keep calling it Gaia or Earth, but that's not correct. So the Hollow Earth, no. So, but anyway, the comedy of it all is the linguistical system that they installed here is to make consonants constant. So I'll give you an example. When I hum, hello. When we sing, I know the Lord is good for me, as an example. You'll see the softness of us is the technology. So when we work from the heart center, I walk around in circles. I'm up all night. Wondered if anything's going to turn out right. Waited here for reasons that used to be clear. What I thought I needed so bad was always here. And so that technology that's installed in every one of us is what's growing your ascension capabilities. And that's why it always works. It never fails. Now, the hijacking of you is to not, number one, don't teach it. So you should have been taught that the minute you were born. Sing every day, laugh every day, play every day with your harmonics and your light. So bringing in more of your light body and more of your harmonics is what's been taken away from you. So the bad guys know this. They know the more we get in a group, sing Kumbaya, it's actually going to work. They know that. They know that you could go to another dimension if we just sang together. If we just kept the consonants out of our linguistical system. They know that you are being observed. Even this conversation, they're watching very close. They know they can't deal with me. They know. They also don't believe you're going to believe me. They don't believe you're going to believe Ron Amatron. They don't believe you're going to believe Buddha, Princess Diana. They don't think you can actually understand, overstand, whatever you want, that there's aliens that created you. That's how good they are. They're so good at giving you these screens and these machines that you will now believe the next story that shows up right on time. And they're so good at watching us. They're really good at this, that they've also married artificial intelligence with it and got you to carry one of them around all day long, while simultaneously they can put a barcode in your genetics and channel your thought into a machine in real time. That's why they're so efficient. Now, with great respect, there is a solution to this. There is a very easy solution. And that's why I'm giving you a lot of information today about how easy it is to control you unbelievable gods, because of our naivety. We are so naive about what our unbelievable capabilities are. That's how good the bad guys are controlling you, because you are so powerful. You actually believe they're not cutting and pasting time. They can cut and paste time all the time with your godly given gifts of thought. Very, very tricky. I ask everyone to go sit somewhere and watch somebody for 10 minutes without talking. Watch what happens to them when they're talking to you. So you're not going to participate in the conversation, but they are, let's say. Watch them look up in the eyes, look up in the sky every 10 minutes or so, plus or minus. Now, it's so subtle. And that's why I ask all the psychics out there to stop channeling, because they are abducting the channelers and it gets very confusing. We're all getting so much of our abilities back to be psychic, telepathic, all our clairvoyance and clairaudience, all of that should be put into one title. So now when you're channeling another being, the aliens, it's outside yourself. So just find yourself, and this is how you do it. You go right to your heart center with your informal decision-making process and your formal decision-making process. And yes, I'm tired of me saying it too. If you feel the information as you make your next choice, they cannot touch us. And I have many experience on other planets to show this, to explain it, to be part of it. And again, I will never let you go through this alone. It is truly me here. And now you're able to feel the information. You're able to see that it is me. But I don't consider myself special. You are. You're creating universes. You've made this place, so I have a place to come to. Never forget how incredible you all are. If you didn't come out here and make a universe in singularity, there'd be no universes. That's how incredible you are. You've made a universe with a planet in the sake of source. That's what you are. It is profoundly amazing to have you create a universe so we can all go and be in a universe. I am amazed, shockingly amazed, what you all have done. You have all done this on your own with the most dramatic hindrances ever conceived. Thank you, thank you, thank you, whoever will listen to me. Now, shall we talk about us? I guess I just did, didn't I?
I think it's hard to digest.
Yeah, we'll keep going here.
Okay.
Okay, when I talk about us, I want to show you how the light works. The light is you can see now the English language is perfectly designed so we can't explain source, the light, and that's how good they are. In almost all the languages are designed that way. Even the Romantic languages, they have some good communications. But again, humming and singing is, if you look at the Native Americans, they had a pretty good language at one time. And to stay on topic here, the light works in a way that has no boundaries. And so it gets a little confusing when you look at this version of humans. This is predominantly the 7th version, by the way. And this version of humans, they made it in a way that the light body, when it comes into it, it would never stop growing its capability. And that's one of the designs of this version of a human, was to get it. Let's allow it to grow. So they knew that it was going to grow, but let's catch it right before the ascension cycle. And so when you look at light coming from source, that's us. That's all we are, is a light being. We can fragment. Okay, so when I was here 2,000 years ago, we could have more than just an independent light body in there. You could have many. So many people remember what it was like to be here 2,000 years ago because they shared part of the column of light, and maybe with other individuals. So as an example, this is why they did get a lot of mileage out of us and me, is so they can actually put me in more than one body simultaneously, and they can do it to you. And that's why this version of humans is so deceptively awesome because your Merkaba is matching the geometric patterning they've created in a physical body. And I know it's tough information. Again, there's a very happy ending. So what if there was 10 of you here? How would you know it? Because so when you're looking at memory now, and that's why I started the show with the song. When you're looking at memory now, the consciousness of your light body it knows everything. So before you got into this physical body, there's not one piece of information you did not know about the universe. And so that is my passion, to remind you of that. How come I don't feel all that smart all of a sudden? But sometimes I feel really, I got this. I'm all the information's pouring into me. Well, that's part of your light body pouring in more and less, more and less, more and less. When with the growth of your light, less restrictions, if you will. And so it's amazing when you're not in these bodies, as you probably figured out. So when I'm on other planets, I would look back here when I'm on the light ship, as an example. We can talk about the light ship as well. When I'm looking back here, I'm like, what's so difficult about this place? And so there's no way to know how tricky this place is until you actually do it, because you have no conception why this bus ticket was given to you. And number two, why would it be so difficult? Because you're unbelievably capable of so many things that have been hidden from you. So anyway, as it relates to us, the light, when you fractionalize, is part of the development of our dimensional reality and our local reality. So you can basically, a portion of you could be in another dimension. You got a lot of you like to call it your higher self. I would lose that term, but you're able to spread out as you come into the multiverse. So I could be in Bernardo, I could be in Orion, and I could be here at the exact same time, although you couldn't say the exact same time because there's no such thing as time. You could say I could be in different spaces all the time. And that's what's so fascinating about the relationship that's been hidden from us, is if we all knew that, we'd have all of our light body in us, because all we would do is, I command my spirit to give me all of me now. I command Prime Creator to give me all of me now. And that little bit of doubt that's inside our head is what's stopping it. So for me, as I relate this to us, I don't have that doubt. I'm in real time. I don't have the past carrying me along. I'm only right now. And that's my encouragement for us, is to only work on right now continuously for us. Continuously, there is only right now. And what we would desire to do the next minute as us. And this is the happy ending. If I am inspired and excited, if you are excited and inspired, you can't wait to do it, is where we're at right now. This is exactly where we're at right now. It's our choice. Guess what? If we all did it, you would see heaven on earth. You would see heaven on earth continuously. No, you don't have to leave here if you don't want to. Yeah, you can go back and recalibrate to your home planet. My suggestion right now, from my point of view, is let's take 2 weeks and go on vacation, come back and clean up this place. I'll get a broom, but that it would be real fun if we just all took 2 weeks off, went back to our home planet, and came back and said, I am so sorry, planet. I made a mistake, and we want to do better this time. That's one idea, just throwing it out there. Mm-hmm. But the ascension process is right now, dear ones. Dear ones, you can do it right now. You don't have to meditate. If you are meditating through your mind, that's actually a trick. That's a trick. See, they want you to use your mind to hijack your mind. See, when you weren't here, you don't have a mind. Everybody, you're a light being. You didn't have minds before you got here. You didn't have these emotional bodies that are stifling your mind and your physical body. You were completely at peace. You were completely knowledgeable of everything, everywhere. You were perfect in peace, perfect in neutrality. There is no judgment. There is no right or left. There is only observation and the experience of going to play in the expression of yourself, whether it's collectively or individually. You are not a brain, dear ones. You are a light being that has unlimited knowledge. And the more you use your heart center, the more you will get your memories back. Jane, do you think that helps?
I thought that was beautiful. I really felt that, especially at that first part one, at the very end. I just felt like I was completely blown away and felt great peace. I really felt it was amazing. This happened, and now it's easier to come to that. It's
You'll see the information is getting redundant, and the patterning in which I'm communicating is intended to be redundant. We can talk many days about the clone factories below your feet right now. We can talk many days about how Area 51, artificial intelligence, we can talk about the aliens that I have vast knowledge of on this planet and others. I can tell you all about the aliens. I deal with them every single day. They will never let go of me. They know I am your hope. It's very disappointing, and it's actually backwards. You are my hope. If I don't have you, I don't have anything. It's that simple. This is my great passion, is to be with you. To have this place is shockingly amazing. I am in great honor of everyone who will listen to this. But what would it serve if I talked about how awful the programs were in the military industrial complex, in the CIA? I would only be talking about the past. It's already over. We only have one choice. Maybe it's educational. Maybe we could talk about all the other people that were affected in these programs too. But what would it serve us if I keep talking about the demons that managed me in the CIA, or the people that are listening as well, and all the people that have been affected? We only have one choice, is the way I see it, and that's why this messaging is going to get tiring. It's up to us right now to stop and start what we prefer, what we're excited about. And that's all there is. You can see the manipulation, the attempt to create chaos in the most incredible people on your radios. You can see that they're desperate to create more chaos, more stories, more newspapers, more emails, more text messages. It was all invented for this exact conversation, to make sure I wouldn't get it out to you. Everyone, all we have to do is laugh for 5 minutes and it's all over. And I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. And that is my happy solution for everyone.
It's a beautiful way of how we can remember who we truly are as source, as you, as one. It's just this whole part two has been just, again, so amazingly high, and it's your energy, the energy of love. And so we are a part of you. We are all a part of each other, for those that listen to this call.
It's just so amazing what I've showed up to have my memories back is the only real value I bring. I will argue till I'm blue in the face, is to know what it's like to have all my lifetime. So when you have, everyone's going to get them, by the way. So that's what I really want to take great care about, and that's why I sang the song. is you are going to get all your memories. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Everyone's starting to see, wait a minute, I do remember being on another planet, but I just can't quite touch it. I think I was a brown person. And so that's why I want to take great care, and I want to be here for you all, because it's quite a shock to go from A to Z in 5 seconds, because that is going to happen to many people, and it's already happening, and they're approaching me now. They go, wait a minute, I do remember being Zorea in Hollow Earth. Okay. And so this is a serious topic for me, because when you have been duped at this level and get all your memories back very quickly, relatively quickly, it is quite a change in your perception of this density of a dimension. So I will never promote being at a higher dimension over a lower dimension. I will only explain that the dimensional capability that we have here is very special. So don't knock the third dimension if you're going to name it that. To have so much density and to be so physical, to have so much opportunity to be an individuality is an unbelievable expression of our capabilities, and an unbelievable privilege to have a brain that's independent to you. So I will backtrack a little bit. Yes, having a brain has some creature comforts. Knowing where your keys are is probably a good thing. But at the same time, look how incredible it is to have a baseball bat and hitting a ball. It's quite fascinating to be in physicality. So eating food is very, very interesting. We don't eat food at the other dimensions. You don't drink water either. So if anyone has those questions, I'll remind them. We flow very easily. We don't walk. We channel a location we want, and we go there. It's so easy. It's actually boring in some respects, but you have so much more feeling. One of the ways they stifled us here is they only gave us one avenue for our sensuality, our sexuality. And it's so our connection with each other when we're not in these physical bodies is so out of this world, literally. So when you merge with another being, it is astonishing experience. And you're now able to do it here. And so take great care in your relationships now, because the ability to merge your light body with another physical body is possible right now. It takes exercise. You need to take great care. You must have great respect and appreciation for all the individuals here, but you actually can change your light body and merge with another light body, not change, transfer. So you can touch each other in a far more higher frequency, and those frequencies are starting to recognize each other. You like to call it, let's say, kindred spirits or my twin flame. That's incorrect. That's still got limitation. There is no limitation, is what I'm doing my best to explain. Yes, there's such thing as a twin flame. There is a frequency you just love being with, but you would be shocked how many twin flames you actually could find. There's unbelievable vastness of our capability of changing our frequency to match another frequency. So yes, there are such things as a twin flame, but when you start talking about a soulmate, that's all alien technology. When you talk about reincarnation, that is alien technology. They have a way to install karma into our physical bodies, so we believe we have to learn this message to come back around again and not kick the anthill over. I love the conversation of learning so that you can ascend. Well, there is some truth to that, because we wouldn't have the show then, would we? Mm-hmm. But when you really look at it from the 30,000 foot level, you are already all ascended. You're all perfectly ascended. It's whether or not you want to go to your higher and or more of your light body. That's all that's happening here. And so it's very exciting for me to see how close we are. We are so close. We are right on the lip. To watch this is one of the most beautiful, beautiful things in the universe, and I will never, ever let you go through this alone. Ever.
Q, excuse me.
Yes.
I do have a question, and I know that you did this 2000.
You're doing very good. You're doing very good.
You did this 2,000 years ago, and it didn't happen. 2,000 years before that, it didn't happen.
Yep,
and
that's correct.
How do we know that this is for sure this time around?
I've been waiting for that question for about 17 years. Thank you. Okay, so what's different this time? You're far more capable this time. Okay, let's talk about 2,000 years ago to make it easier. One, we didn't have telecommunications, so it was very difficult to get around. Many people did go through the ascension cycle 2,000 years ago, and unfortunately, you named them my disciples. That's incorrect. They just got more of their light bodies. So many of the disciples that taught themselves the information they already knew, and that's all I'm doing. This is information you already know. Just remembering it is all we're doing. The disciples had all the same abilities that I have, that all of us have. And so that's what was lost in translation. You had everybody getting their light body back into them that did the work. And that's why I ask everyone to go to Ron Amatron's webpage, Creation Lightship, and just start playing with the exercises. As he was stronger than me at doing the healing work, because it's not my passion. I'm a catalyst. I like turning over rocks. I like kicking the bad guys a little bit, things like that. So this is what's different this time. Number one, we have these radio shows. And so you have all of us talking about the topic of ascension. Before, think about it 100 years ago. Could you talk to your great-grandfather and ask him what ascension was? See how different it is this time?
Yes.
Nobody, notice that people know what meditation is, as an example. So we look like if you had my opinion from then and now as an example, I could see where we are at. And I realized this one is going to be perfect because we're like a big light wave. Each one of us is stimulating each one of us. And so we look like from the outside looking in, we look like a big wave of light that you can't stop. So not only have we bring the multiverse into the light ship that's around your universe right now is so intensely focused on this region, it will never fail. It's impossible because that wave that's coming in here you can't stop it, and everyone's feeling it now and observing it is what accepting it is the tool that is making it happen. So there was 2,000 years ago, there was less acceptance of feeling your light body being received in your physical body. Does that help?
Yes. Thank you.
It's quite tricky to explain.
Yes. Could you tell us more about the creation light ship that is hovering over? Mm-hmm.
Right. So we're around you, not hovering over you.
Oh.
Okay. Sure. So you're completely engulfed in it right now. I've taken many people up there. I expect you to. I haven't taken you two up because I expect you to go on your own. Excuse me, Billy. She did go up with me once, twice. Excuse me. But you should be able to reach it whenever you want right now. That's how capable you all are now. And so I will never take anybody without permission. But certainly, Jane, if you want me to take you up, I did take Charlie Ward up and some other people.
Oh.
I don't want to talk to too much about other people without their permission, but they know who they are. They know who they are, and
okay.
We're all capable of doing it now. Because remember, it's us. So the light ships were created for the ascension cycle and for creating life in the multiverse, and all of you should have some kind of remembrance of it, because you're able to go there whenever you want. So the Zolariums are incredible. When you go to the light ship, this is what it's you got to remember, it's a universe. So when you go to the zoo, as an example, it doesn't look like a zoo. It looks like the largest forest you've ever been in. And when you go and talk to the elephants, they're asking, why are you surprised I'm talking? So all the animals can talk to you in real time, and all the trees can talk to you. That's a normal multiverse. When you go to a planet, every, as Sting would say, every blade of singing grass is really real. Your planet talks to you. Even when we see Billy's experiences, she knows what it's like to meet a mermaid. I've met many mermaids, of course. They're very normal. You should all be able to talk to a tree right now. By the way, they'll heal you if you go to a tree right now. You go put your back against a tree, and you have cerebral palsy, you have cancer. I guarantee you, your life, it will help you. It loves to heal. Trees love to heal. Please, if we can do one thing, stop cutting down the trees. It's the silliest thing I've ever seen. People killing another being and then go living in guilty as charged, by the way. I live in a wood home, but we're living in death if we build our homes from another being. My great passion is to recreate the modern construction industry to be of masonry, to make perfectly beautiful stone homes that last forever. And by the way, they carry the electromagnetic etheric field from the middle of your planet, making them so sound, so grounded, and so safe. And that's my banter. But yes, the light ship is here for the ascension cycle. You got it right, Jane.
Well, it sounds like Hollow Earth.
They are mirrored and modeled off the same premise of your reality is being made by your understanding of your reality. So the knowing process of being able to create a universe is what's missing here. That's my opinion. Believing that there's going to be another bill in the mailbox is what we keep buying into. So if it's me that has to get martyred to do it, I'm happy to do it, because it's so different living other places than it is here. And I just want at least have one of us to remember, and I guess it's going to be me. We voted, and I drew the short stick. So
thank you, Q.
Yeah.
Q?
Yes.
One other thing that you mentioned before.
I need to go into a different room because of the interruption. There's a lot of static. Go ahead, Zaraya.
Okay. The god of the hills is Poseidon.
Mm-hmm.
You know that.
I do.
Then don't be afraid to mention his name.
All right. Billy is she's got my number. I can never get her with it. Okay, so as Poseidon, it was a mistake in some respects, because when I participated as what is perceived as a god is not correct. I was too powerful to work with the individuals that were here at the time. So I've falling in love with a woman that's 3 inches tall was very difficult, as an example. So but then to have all the incredible capabilities we had here, even then, but that was one of the things we talked about, is if you're going to go down there, you can't have all your abilities. How come? Because you're going to dwarf the process. You're not going to understand it, and you're going to have to play God, and you can't play God. Okay, that whole story goes just miles. And so having the memory of being a false god was a really big event for me, because I realized I can't play God. We are God. And so it's very valuable to be in that role. And it was more of a hindrance now that I look back at it. Thank you, Billy, for letting me speak that way. It's Billy is very, very special to me, because she can see so much. She can see my heart. She can see my passion for you all. And again, my desire to be here is always going to be perfectly authentic with perfect purpose. And I thank you all for allowing me to be with you. And I thank you for bringing me here, for showing me home, for singing these tears. And finally, I found that I belong here. And I thank you so much.
Of course
We're
you
not-
belong here.
Of course, yes, we love you. Don't go away. Ever.
Yeah. Well, we've got a good body of information out today. I have so many things to say. But what do you think? What would you think would be passionate for everyone to hear today?
Well, I think one of the key things is those that are listening to your message and feeling the harmonics. How do we move that forward to helping others to know of you? And also, how do we spread our light, which grows brighter, to all those that are still so very, very asleep? They don't get hollow earth. They don't get even the process of ascension. They are still mired into 3D, feeling the suffering, feeling like they don't have enough food. They can't get, they can't find a home because of the high prices. So still immersed in this 3D horrible existence. Matrix. Yeah, matrix is a good word. Thank you, Zaraya.
Yes. So of course, I'm expected to have the answers, and I do. And there's only one way out of it. And I'm sorry to say, because it's so vast, the choices you have. And so even those words are confusing. The location of our light body is literally right underneath our nose, and observing it, the tools that I'm explaining are using that football shape, that gut feeling you have about your next decision. It doesn't matter what the decision is. Hanging up the phone, if it doesn't feel good now, it's not going to work. And that's what creates more duality. I don't want to do this is just fine. That is just fine. It doesn't move me. It's not passionate. I don't really like listening to Q. He's a ding-dong. He believes he's this false god. All of it. If you only use your heart, to make the next choice, look at a plant. Does the plant ever deviate from growing to be a flower? Look at the animals. Do the animals go to the dentist, by the way? They never fault their highest excitement. The deer loves to go forage in the field. What is it you love to do? What is you cannot wait to do is the only solution I have for you. That's all I have.
You.
Beautiful.
Another thing I'd like you to bring forth, I brought it forth before, my father brought it forth before, but I think they need to hear from you as well, and as the third party, and that is that every living thing that has a face has a soul. That means deers that you go out and shoot, you're taking a soul.
Mm-hmm.
A squirrel, if you shoot a squirrel, you're taking a soul. You shoot a bird, you're taking a soul. They don't understand that. They're under the false impression that an animal has no soul, and that needs to be rectified right now.
Yeah. So I'll tell the story real quick. As I was coming through this body. I spent many years in the Bering Sea. By the way, the reason I'm so passionate about this planet, in addition to the other reasons, us, this is a water world, and the water worlds are just magnificent because they're really made to be very harmonious with the planetary alignment of animals and mammals and so forth. It's supposed to, you'll heal very quickly when you're at sea because of the aeonic energy. And that's also, if you are paralyzed, the aeonics will realign your nervous system, by the way. So it is one of my great goals is to get a healing vessel so we can get people out on the aeonic energies. As an example, I never got a cold when I was at sea for 10, 12 years, whatever the number is. But one day, going to be a little careful, I don't name names, but I did spend a lot of time in the Bering Sea. And one day, a fish came up in the net, and it literally said to me, "What are you doing?" And we call them angelfish. That's not the proper name for them, but it literally was talking to me straight to my head. Why are you doing this to all my friends and me? And I literally go, okay, that's a fish talking to me. This is weird, right? And so as I come through my awakening process, I go, I'm really talking to a fish. And the fish did end up dying. I tried my damnedest to get it off the boat, but we had a conversation that went on for quite a while. And from that point on, this was many, many years ago, I was talking to all the fish and consequently quit commercial fishing for obvious reasons. So killing 1 million pounds of fish and having them all talk to you and swear at you is quite an experience. Okay, so I'm not kidding when I say the mermaids out there were doing the same thing. They're like, okay, it's you. Don't you remember it was you? I go, I know. I'm getting there. What are you talking about, by the way? The mermaids are even more interesting. Yes, Billy, you do have it right. All of these beings that are blinking and looking at you, regardless of the species, regardless if they're a mammalin or otherwise, yeah, they are alive exactly like you. I can tell you the killer whales I talk to are just shocked. Just shocked. They cannot believe that we have come around. They go, you're gonna put us in a swimming pool in San Diego. They've literally had that conversation with me. I go, I'm trying to get on top of it. I've tried to educate them. Why would you put us in a swimming pool? On and on. There's so many agendas around controlling our light bodies. So an animal to me is no different than me in a physical body. I consider my physical body a mongrel compared to a killer whale. I'm very inefficient compared to a killer whale. And those relationships that killer whales have, by the way, the dolphins, all the mammals, those relationships are flawless, by the way. They will die for each other to save one another. It's amazing how incredible they are. And many animals are like that. And Billy, thank you for bringing that to my attention. Great topic. We could do hours on.
So the other term is that they don't die; they ascend.
That is a Roger. Yeah. Yep. And so it is foolish of me to play with these words. I'm inadequate for sure. When the animal is already they're already at a very high level of capability when they come into that physical body. So they don't have the same hindrances we do. So notice, so we could use whales or deer. They don't, that mind energy, the negatives, the dark, they don't get in there because they haven't been manipulated. So as an example, the geneticists that created us, this version of humans, at least most of us, not all of us, but most of us, they didn't do that to the animals. They didn't spend all their time trying to engineer a deer to have more mind energy, as an example. So it has more of its light capability, more of its consciousness, the spirit, whatever you want to call it, soul, that's fine. And so when they die, they instantly,
they don't die.
they instantly ascend, to Billy's point. No one ever dies, everyone. Nothing dies that is of the light. So don't be afraid of anything, and let's get on our way.
Right. So, in other words, whenever there's a war or a conflict, however you want to say it, no one dies. They all ascend. Their time of ascension came when they went through whatever it was they went through that took their life. They were simply ascending. They were finishing their contracts. That's what it is. Everyone has a contract, whether it's a human, a dog, cat, whatever. It still has a contract, and once that contract is over, then you ascend. If it happens to be through war, so be it. If it happens to be through an accident, not of your making, so be it. You still ascend.
Yeah.
Everyone ascends. No one dies. You need to get that word death and dying out of your vocabulary because it's a wrong understanding.
Okay, Zaraya, thank you.
Yes.
Q, could you explain further when Billy says that? Now I forgot what I was going to say, Zaraya.
Ascension.
No, not so much ascension. I have two questions, Q. One is that we're talking about mammals. So, the Darwin theory, right, which we know is absolutely false. So when you talk about the different versions of who we have been, are we talking about, in terms of how we were birthed? I mean, we were birthed as humans in a planet. So when you talk about, and we have been previously to the human version, were we other animals as well? Could you expound on that?
Right. So, Billy, so again, the English language is the confusing part here as we communicate. But maybe take the word contract and change it to commitment.
Okay.
So if you're commit, so obviously there's not an office somewhere where we all sign contracts, but your internal commitment to doing this expression of yourself is how I would explain it. So you want to be, let's say you want to participate as a different kind of mammal, 100% capable of doing that. No problem. Now, to what degree is an interesting topic too, because there are mammals that have, let's say, a percentage of their light body in them. So we will be careful with me because I speak about the universe, and I have seen planets where animals were manipulated to only accept a portion of the light body. Whereas here, interesting enough, very few animals have been manipulated here. So you can have all your light body, all your Merkaba, if you will, in a physical mammal here. So it's quite, now they focus more on this version of humans. And that's the point I was doing my best to take place. But for the most part, I agree with Billy. It's just the play on the words is commitment is to yourself and or contract, if you like that one. And it will never, what's interesting, it will never deviate. You are so committed to getting out here as an individual, it's flawless. It's beautiful. That's why we call it God. That's why we call it source. Does that help?
So one of the understandings that have been played out is that when we were in a different planet or whatever, we all volunteered and decided to be here at this particular time. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Okay, so who's going to tell you? This is a great question, Jane. Who is going to tell you? Come to you and ask you if you'd like to volunteer to get here? Who would that person be?
Well, that never was mentioned. That was never mentioned as to.
Okay, so you can see, you can kind of see the trick now. Kind of see the trick.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
so you were sitting on your lounge chair. and you were sitting drinking a Mai Tai,
Okay.
wondering when the cheeseburger was coming around, and someone showed up and goes, "Hey, we got a problem down there, everyone. We got to get over that." Is that what you're kind of relating to?
Yes.
You guys are the ones. You guys are the ones. Get over there. Let's go volunteer.
Right.
Okay. All right. So who would that person be? Who do you think that person was?
Father.
A higher being.
That's the beauty of it. It was you. It was us as a collective. Okay. And that's how incredibly powerful we are. So when you're not in this dimension and or you're not on this planet, having unlimited knowledge is very normal. So expanding the universe is, if I was going to summarize what a light being does, I would say it endlessly expands universes. So that's not even that's not even fair. So when you say volunteered, voluntold,
Right.
you're really just saying, hey, let's go take care of things because I can hear them. So your brothers and sisters were naturally singing out, and you basically go, well, that's easy. Let's just go over there and clean it up, or whatever your opinion of the situation was in its relationship to expanding another universe. That's all it is. You're just expanding a universe.
So before we were humans, what were we?
There's no way I could answer that question.
We were just consciousness?
Okay, so let's now we're going to play with time now, aren't we? Yes. So what was I before I was this human?
Correct.
Per se?
Correct.
Okay. Now so now we've already started with 2,000 years ago. Yes. Almost all of you guys were here. Almost every one of you was here 2,000 years ago.
I wasn't.
And
I was, but
and the reason that I say it that way is because not even that is a true statement, because you can't really call us individuals when you talk about the light. Okay, but there's a big body of us that didn't ascend. So the light can't be an individual, and it can be an individual and that's why I say the English language was designed to make sure I can't explain it to you. So the light was here, and a portion of the individuality of the light did not ascend. Okay, so but much of the light can come and go concurrently.
Okay. Now,
what did I do? Let's say you're one of the light bodies that was not here, either as a collective or as an individual. Okay. Let's say, what were you before you got here? There's no way I could answer that question because you were in the multiverse for so long, you couldn't put a number to it. All right. So what were you before you came into the multiverse is going to be your next question, correct?
Yes.
Source is, if you could put a picture on it, Billy might help me. The Hollow Earth have a very good understanding of it as well. If I looked at source as it comes into the multiverse, it actually looks like almost a pineapple, a crystalline pineapple. And as light, so it's crystalline, but as our powers, light, comes out of it, it's actually designed to fractionalize. So let's say I go out one direction, you go out the other direction, you'll actually fragment your light body and shard it off, share it, grow it. You can do many things with it. Okay, so what was before that then, Jane's going to ask?
Correct.
Unification of one in multitude.
In multitude?
Doesn't it feel like all of us are connected somehow?
Of course.
Why is that? Because we all come from the same source of light.
Correct. Everything does.
You can't call it anything in the English language. There's no way you can call source as an example, because it is an omnipresence that is unlimited in real time. It's not something. You can't touch everything. All that is what source is. All that ever will be.
Right.
It's our brains that are trying to say there's another place. There's this something.
Right.
There's this thing. There is everything. That's all there is. Explain that. Everything that is possible is all that is what source is. That's what you were before you got here.
And there's no time.
Before we got here, we were nothing.
You were everything. That's what I'm doing my best to explain. Now it's your choice to be something.
Okay.
No one can explain it. It's beautiful. It's everything.
Okay. So when we look at the multiverse,
Now you're something. Now you're something. Before you were not.
right.
You were everything.
Okay, so if I was everything, then perhaps I was, I don't know, maybe I was a fish. Maybe I was a tree. Maybe I was a blade of grass, correct?
Everything.
A mermaid.
Or whatever, right, whatever. Because of that connection in terms of who we are.
You're always, well, every time I get here, you're my translator. So that's all I call you. So, I mean, it's tricky it's beautiful. I'm glad you asked me that, by the way. That's perfect. The individuality is what is so amazing, that we can branch off as an individual. That's what is shocking to me. So when I get here, I can't believe how capable we are with hardly any of us in us. It's shockingly amazing. That's what I would take away from your question, is how is it we're able to do this with little or no light in us? It's amazing. I'm so proud of anyone who will listen to me now or in the future. You are all shining, unbelievable stars, as my song said.
Okay, you have 2 or 3 minutes left, I think.
All right, good. Let's get her done then. We'll do it one more time for
Thank
Jane. Jane, I love you so much, and words cannot explain how much you both mean to me and everyone who's listening. I'm not leaving. I'm never going to leave. I'll always be right here through these processes. And I thank you for bringing me here, for showing me home, for singing these tears. Finally, I found that I belong here. You two are amazing. BBS Radio, shocking, outstanding. Can't wait to do it again. My love to you all.
Thank you, Q.
Okay.
Again, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. We love you. Part 3 is coming. Thank you. Bye-bye.